Lonzo Ball embarrassed Stephen A. Smith after he called out Zoe on First Take, but there's something Lonzo doesn't want us to know about his injury. He would never say this out loud, but at least Stephen A. hinted at it. This video explains what's wrong, but this all started when Zoe just casually said this huge news to Trae Young.
I just had a really big surgery, hopefully the last one I ever have to get, but you know, it's a long process, gonna be out I'm already out this whole next season.
I'm sorry, what? And Trae doesn't even react to that? He's like, oh yeah, out all next year too. What? We had no idea. So Stephen A. had a terrible comment about Zoe's future. He even reported something that pissed Zoe off.
I don't think he'll ever be the same based off of what we're seeing and hearing and reading about. I've heard that it's even hard for him to get up from the sitting position.
Okay, that is serious. But Zoe heard that and responded right away.
Please tell me who your sources are. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta stop yapping. And I actually like you, man.
Oh, he showed Stephen A. Own that fraud. Stephen A. Smith just making stuff up, which is a huge insult, by the way, to a reporter. Like, you can't say anything more damaging than that. So Stephen A. was pissed off. He went on the next day and clapped back hard.
Stop the nonsense. Now, maybe you can get up and get down. Maybe somebody exaggerate. All right, you know, all right, you can stand up and sit down. Bro, you ain't healthy. You've missed about 48% of your games, and you're only 4 years into your career. And on top of it all, you would think that since you missed all of last season, and 47 games the season before that, and you're scheduled to miss games at least until the new year, this upcoming season, that you wouldn't make a video proclaiming that you're healthy.
That is right. People are afraid to say it about Zoe, but Stephen A. did, and a ton of comments below the video said, well, when did Lonzo say he was healthy? He was just showing you he could get out of a chair. Are you serious? I mean, we're talking about an NBA player, not someone's great grandma. Congrats, the report was wrong about getting out of a chair. Are you proud of that? But if Lonzo comes back, he'll be the first player to ever return from that surgery. No one has done it. Zoe would never tell you that. It's the unspoken part of this beef with Stephen A. But why is his injury so unique? So this injury started January of 2022. The Bulls are in first place at the time, but without Zoe, they slipped to 6th place. So Zoe rushed to get back for the playoffs, but his knee was not responding, so they shut him down, and Chicago got slapped in the first round by Milwaukee. So Zoe had surgery that summer, but before the season had horrible news. Zoe said, I still can't play basketball, I can't run or jump. That same report said he had trouble walking upstairs. But the worst part is no one knew why. People are concerned about his future because there's so much mystery around this injury. Players have knee issues all the time, but normally they come back, or at least have some idea when they'll come back. Another mysterious injury was Kawhi Leonard. His knee was hurt in San Antonio, and it caused a huge beef between him and the team doctors. They said he was healthy to play. Kawhi disagreed. It led to him demanding a trade, but he's been a mess ever since. There's a chance Kawhi is a best case scenario for Lonzo, which is terrible. Before Zoe's second surgery, a Bulls insider said the team was worried. They don't think it's likely he ever plays again. We heard about an experimental cartilage replacement surgery. It is incredibly rare and is much more likely being done just for his quality of life off the basketball court. That means he's just trying to live a pain-free life. Never mind play professional basketball again. But what is that experimental surgery all about? Zoe's main issue is his meniscus. It's the natural padding that allows your knee to take an impact. Well, Zoe has had several meniscus surgeries to shave it off to the point that it's almost gone. Dude is bone on bone. So, doctors are taking a part of his own tissue to try to replace the meniscus. Now, athletes have been able to come back and play their sport again, but not pro athletes. Because when you're talking about the NBA, any little weakness gets exposed. If Zoe loses any of his speed or agility from this surgery, it could take away his career. But even worse, all of this could have been avoided. LeVar Ball, may have done this to his own son. Lonzo was a huge celebrity even before the NBA. Oh, Victor Wembanyama's first Summer League game was sold out, but it was second in ticket sales to Lonzo's first Summer League game. So normally the big players like that sign shoe deals with like Nike. They get a signing bonus and a percentage of shoe sales up to 15%. Well, LeVar wanted 100% of sales by creating his own company called Big Baller Brand. He knew the popularity of Lonzo and his two other sons could make them billionaires. People clown LeVar, but this was actually a genius idea. The problem was execution. In Summer League, Zoe wore his signature shoes, but had his worst games, so he switched to Nikes. So Big Baller redesigned the ZO2s, but they released them for $495. People ripped Triple B for this, but that was nothing. Zoe said once the season started, things got a lot worse.
And he had extra like 4 pairs of shoes in there because I had to switch them every quarter because they would just rip. So like that's if I had to say like the first 2 games, like the real truth is like, yo, the shoes just wasn't ready.
4 pairs of shoes a game because they ripped? That's $2,000 worth of ZO2s. But the Lakers knew this and they confronted Lonzo. His season ended with a horrible ankle sprain, and when asked, Zoe said, yeah, I'm comfortable with my shoes. I mean, if I wasn't comfortable, I'd be wearing Kobe's. But he was lying. Zoe said he was in too deep at that point. They were his shoes. He couldn't go back. So he wore Big Baller for 2 seasons, getting injured. But he finally dropped them in mid-2019. It turned out the co-founder Alan Foster allegedly stole $1.5 million of Zoe's money. Now, I'm not a doctor, but when athletes have lower body injuries, they're often connected. Sometimes it starts at the ankle and then moves up to the knee. But forget what I think. The Lakers and Bulls believe the ZO2 started all of this, which means they cost Zoe his career. No one thinks LeVar would have done this on purpose, obviously. But it is a good thing that Triple B went bust before LaMelo got drafted. He signed a $100 million deal with Puma after the draft. Imagine if Zoe did that. That's more than he's made playing basketball his whole career. Now, if you listen to Stephen A. Smith, he is not rooting for Lonzo's downfall. He is just pointing out the truth. His career might be over. Zoe hates to hear that, and so do his fans, so they come lashing out at Stephen A. But don't shoot the messenger. Sometimes the truth hurts. Stephen A. just had the guts to say it out loud. But speaking of bold statements, Steph Curry said he is better than Magic Johnson. And it wasn't boasting, all right? Gilbert Arenas just asked him who is the GOAT point guard. Now people are blasting Steph for saying this, but is he right? Check it out.